Hello, my name's Hayley. I'm going to be talking to you during this short podcast about time management and organisation skills. One of the most important things about time management initially is being motivated. If you don't know why it is you're doing something, it can be really difficult to have the motivation to get up and do it in the morning. We all have tasks in our everyday that require doing things that we don't really want to do, whether it be reading that journal article, filing those files, but they all add up to a larger goal that we do want to achieve. And at university, your larger goal will be to obtain that degree, but you'll have bigger goals than that. Why is it that you want to get a degree in the first place? So it's a good idea to think about that before it is you embark on any kind of project. And one of the ways to do this is to think about SMART goals. So that's S-M-A-R-T. So you must make sure when you're thinking about a goal that you want to achieve is to make it specific or significant. It needs to be something that's meaningful to you. But it also has to be measurable as well. You need to be able to measure that goal in some way. It's no good, the example says here, to sail around the world, because that's not defined enough. We need to go further than that and to give a specific date here or a specific countries that you'd like to go to. It also needs to be attainable. You need to be realistic with your goals. There's no point in giving yourself so much to do or such a huge goal that you end up setting yourself up for failure right at the very beginning. It needs to be relevant or rewarding to yourself as well. So again, this is why often people think about a decision to go to university, because they feel it is a rewarding and relevant experience to them. If you don't feel like that, then it's going to become increasingly hard to do all those jobs throughout your degree that add up to obtaining your degree classification. It also needs to be time-bound and trackable as well. So you need to be able to know, well, what bits am I doing, what tasks am I doing each day to track how closer I am to that goal. So you can start off by setting some goals, and you should state each goal as a positive statement. So rather than saying, don't make this mistake again, then you should say, let's do this thing or technique well. It's better to do it in a positive way. And be precise as well. As we said before, is putting in dates, times and amounts that you can measure achievement. So things like, rather than I'm going to the library today and read, I'm going to read 3 journal articles today. Now you need to spend some time thinking about how long it actually takes you to read those journal articles, so you are able to measure your achievement. But it won't take you long to work that out, and that way then you'll know exactly what you've achieved. Set your priorities as well. Not everything needs to be done at exactly the same time, and you can become overwhelmed by having too many goals in there if you've got lots of assignments and exams and other personal goals that you'd like to achieve as well. If you have everything on the go all at one time, it can really hard to focus on any one thing, and it becomes as well, it feels like it's a never-ending uphill struggle to reach any kind of conclusion. Writing those goals down as well, it's important to do that. It makes it something that you've actually committed to do then if you've written them down. We all have lots of ideas in our head, like, oh, I'd like to learn a language, I'd like to visit however many countries by the time I'm 30 and things like that. But you need to, as the one above says, set priorities so that then you're not then trying to do too much. Keep operational goals small. So you should have lots of levels of goals, and we'll be talking about in another short presentation about long-term, short-term and medium-term planning. You'll have overall goals that you want. Your overall goal might be to be a doctor, but it might be hard sometimes to see how those little everyday things you're doing relate to that and are helping you achieve that goal. So you need to have everyday operational goals as well. So they might be things like reading those journal articles, writing that essay, attending that seminar, writing my CV, so that you actually get to the larger goal that you're trying to achieve. You need to be able to see those progress. So it's not about sort of having 5 large goals in life. Each of those then have to have lots of mini goals set down along with them. And this is where it begins to sound like actual time management and planning. And also, as we said before, set realistic goals. So it's easy for other people around you to set unrealistic goals for you. You can set unrealistic goals for yourself. It's because it's easier to sit there and dream of these things that we might like to do than it is to actually sit down and look at the operational goals and see, well, what actually do I have to do to achieve that? And often that is something that students come to university and don't realise the amount of work they have to put in order to be able to achieve their degree, especially when a lot of that work is self-directed. You only may have a few hours of lectures each week, so you've got an awful lot of time. You need to set those operational goals yourself. And being realistic about your time management, in that it's no good expecting to be able to go to the library and read for 9 hours and be concentrating that whole time. You're not a superhuman person, nobody else can do that, so why would you be able to? So if you start your planning early and set your goals, you can always feed back then to why it is you're actually doing something. It makes it easier to get up in the morning and go to the library and write that essay when you know that it is just one small operational goal that is getting closer to whatever career it is you'd like to do. So, just as an activity, after the end of this presentation, just want you to sit down and think about some of these things now. So these are all ideas of goals that you might have in your life, so your career goals, and essentially that's obviously a lot of that's going to be related to why you're at university. What is it that you want to be? And it doesn't necessarily have to be you know what you want to be yet, but do you want to be working in the city? Would you like to work with people? Do you want to be earning? How much money do you want to be earning? And is this related to your career goals? What education do you need in order to be able to achieve those things? And you don't always know those things from the very beginning, so you might want to go on a website like Prospect so you can see, well, what actually are employers looking for if I want to do this kind of role? Thinking about your family as well, like, do you want to get married and have children? Artistic, do you have any artistic goals? And you should have a mixture of these things in your life. So thinking about, you've got education, financial and career goals, but also you've got family that is important to you, but you've also got your own leisure time. So you might be having some physical athletic goals that you'd like to achieve. Your artistic goals, perhaps maybe you'd like to take up painting, which you find it enjoyable. It's okay to have all of those goals in your life. You need to have a mixture to be able to be a well-rounded and happy person, but all of them need to align with this SMART acronym that we've got here, because otherwise then they become unmanageable. And here, just spend some time thinking about how actually do you use your time. We often don't spend a lot of time realising how long we spend on particular activities. So a task to do here is just for a day or a week would be better to actually at the end of the day just write down as best you can what actually have you done that day, how long have you spent on things. And I think you probably surprise yourself how long you actually probably spent on time wasting activities like Facebook, or just continually checking emails, or mindlessly browsing the internet. When is your preference for working? How long can you work for effectively? This will be different for different people. And do you prefer electronic or paper organisation? Where do you study best? Do you have a long journey and you find yourself being able to utilise that time? Or perhaps maybe actually no, that's your downtime and you want to read a nice fiction book in those times. So you have to really think about where it is you work effectively. It's not about putting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours into your degree. It's about using your time effectively so that whatever it is you're doing is done to the best of your ability. Okay, that's it for this one. Just spend a bit of time on those activities that I've just spoken to you about, thinking about how you use your time and what your goals may be related to these several different areas of your life. And then you can move on and listen to some of the other videos where we talk about actual tools and tips for organising your time and planning your time.